ang tanging huntahan ng masang lamaw. Number 1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa. Broadcasting from TGON, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. You are listening to Cool FM. Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews at 6.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to koolNews at 6. Today is October 17, 2024, and here are tonight's headlines. Bear with me here. A female nurse was stabbed to death by a patient in a private hospital in Tacbilaran City on Thursday morning, October 17. Based on the investigation, Malito Cardenas Linguist, age 31, a resident of Barangay Magsaysay in Sevilla Town, did not like how the 51-year-old nurse treated him. The motive of the incident was hatred. The suspect was informed by the victim that he will be left in the hospital despite paying the required hospital bill, said LT Colonel John Karen Escobar, Chief of the Tacbilaran City Police. The name of the nurse was withheld by Escobar upon the request of the family. Linguist was admitted to the Bohol Doctors Hospital in Barangay Bohol, along with 8 other patients on Tuesday due to diarrhea. While Linguist was about to be released on Thursday morning, he grabbed a pair of scissors and stabbed the nurse several times. Although the worker was identified as Francis Justinire, 21, was about to intervene, but he was also stopped by the suspect. The worker was able to flee the area and ask for assistance from the hospital security guards. Linguist was arrested and detained at the police Costa facility, pending the filing of murder charges against him. The Bohol Doctors Hospital has yet to issue an official statement about the incident. Paranaque police arrested a Chinese man for grave threat and firearm violation complaints, the Central Police District said on Thursday. According to the SPD alias Liu, 32 was on board a white Ford Explorer on Wednesday evening when he had a heated argument, pulled out a firearm, and pointed it at alias Fang, 24, also Chinese national. The driver alias Mark, 27, stopped the vehicle, sought help from a bystander who alerted the police, and with Fang, disarmed Liu by the time cops arrived to arrest the suspect near a hospital in Barangay Dongalo. Liu failed to present a physical passport during his arrest. The Paranaque City Police Station Investigation and Detective Management Section seized a 9mm pistol loaded with 5 rounds of immunization. Complaints for grave threat and violation of the Firearms and Immunizations Act are being prepared against Liu before the Paranaque City Prosecutor's Office. The Philippine National Police said on Thursday that it has reassigned 1,308 out of 1,586 officers who declared that they have relatives running in the 2025 national and local elections. We received a report from the DPRM, or Directorate for Personnel and Records Management, that as of yesterday, based on the inventory, 1,586 PNP personnel have declared that they have relatives up to the 4th degree of consanguinity or affinity who will be running in next year's elections, PNP spokesperson Bijan Juan Fajardo said in a mix of Filipino and English. Out of the 1,586, 1,308 have been given relief orders, meaning they have been removed from their places of assignment and temporarily transferred to other units until the election period ends. The remaining orders will be released probably if not tomorrow, early next week, she added. PNP Chief General Romel Marbel previously said it was only right to remove or reassign police officers from areas where the relatives will run for the upcoming polls. This policy has long been implemented by the PNP. Every time we undergo the electoral process, police who have relatives running are removed from their place of assignment or from where their relatives are running to preclude any notion that their position will be used to influence the upcoming election. Fajad said. PNP last reassigned 2,800 officers during the October 2023 barangay and Sangguniang Kapatan elections. We remain non-partisan and impartial in the upcoming elections, Fajada added. The election period will officially begin on January 12, 2025 and end on June 11, 2025. The Commission on Human Rights on Thursday said it is ready to aid the House of Representatives Squad Committee and share the key findings of its 2022 report on the Duterte administration's war on drugs. The CHR said it is closely monitoring the testimonies and emerging pieces of evidence from the House probe, which may contribute to its ongoing investigations. During the Quad panel's hearing on October 11, retired Police Colonel Royina Garma alleged that former President Rodrigo Duterte and other high-ranking officials during his administration sanctioned covert operations replicating the Double CD model of extrajudicial killings on a national scale. The recent revelation of retired Police Colonel Royina Garma on the reward system in the implementation of the anti-drug campaign affirms the findings of the CHR in its report that police operatives involved in the said incidents are either to be awarded, rewarded, or recognized, CHR's statement read. Reiterate the urgency of truly investigating this reward system, as it is crucial in understanding the scope and depth of the violations committed during the campaign, it added. Below is the following of CHR's key findings from its April 2022 report on the alleged extrajudicial killings during the drug war. 1. There is a consistent narrative by law enforcement alleging victims initiated aggression or resisted arrest or non-laban. 2. There is a use of excessive and disproportionate force. 3. Targeted victims were mostly civilians killed in uninhabited locations, sustaining gunshot wounds in the head and or torso. 4. There is non-cooperation by the police. And 5. There is a lack of effective, prompt, and transparent accountability mechanisms to address drug-related killings. The CHR said it is expected the House Quad panel would validate the reports gathered by the Commission. More importantly, we are hopeful that the recommendations of the report will be acted by concerned government bodies towards ascertaining justice and preventing similar widespread human rights violations from happening again, it said. In this regard, CHR acknowledges the recent move in the House of Representatives to classify these incidents of killings as heinous crimes as it is a recognition of the grave human rights violations that have transpired and toward ensuring that justice is served for all the victims and their families, it added. The CHR also said it would note the parallel investigation being explored by the Senate. Moreover, the agency reiterated its call for other concerned agencies to conduct their impartial investigation and stressed the need to ensure the safety of the families of drug war victims and resource persons. After all, being given the space to deliver their testimonies and affidavits without any fear of violence, intimidation, or retaliation is the appropriate step towards ending the culture of fear and silence and to encourage more families of victims to seek justice, the Commission added. The CHR also expressed confidence that justice will be served for the victims and their families. We are hopeful that the Quad Committee's inquiry will lead to intangible progress in advancing justice for the victims of EJKS. Given the considerable challenges the CHR faced during the past administration, we are encouraged that the current socio-political climate offers a more conducive environment for the resolution of these cases, it said. After years of raising concerns over the anti-drug campaign and relentless call for accountability, the CHR welcomes these promising developments that may contribute to the long-awaited pursuit of justice, it added. According to reports, the war on drugs left at least 6,000 people dead. However, human rights groups and advocates claim that the number may have reached 20,000. Duterte and his former police chief and now Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa were among the personalities mentioned in the crimes against humanity complaint pending before the International Criminal Court. And Surigao del Sur Second District Representative Johnny P. Mantel has claimed that former Department of Education Undersecretary Epi Maco dancing asked lawmakers for kickbacks in exchange for the continuation of school building projects in the districts. At the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability hearing on Thursday, Pimentel called out dancing as his alleged associate, Greg Morlito, supposedly contacted Pimentel so that he and dancing could meet. Pimentel said when he asked what the purpose of the meeting was, Morillo allegedly told him that it was to discuss something. Prior to the meeting, this Mr. Greg Morillo, who's a close friend of Mr. Dancing, called me and this is what he said. "How are you, Congressman?" I said I was good. He then said, "Congressman, you have 170 million pesos budget for your district Pimentel said in a mix of English and Filipino. I said that it was scheduled for bidding. In fact, it was being bid as we spoke. He said, sir, can you talk with Mr. Densing first? Those are the exact words of him. We can face each other. He said, maybe you can show up before Mr. Densing first. I said, what for? He said, you already know that you will talk about something, Pimentel added. Right there and then, I already knew what was the topic as Mr. Densing would ask for a commission. According to Pimentel, when he did not agree to meet Densing, the funds for the school buildings in his district were withheld. He also said Densing tried to meet with other lawmakers, supposedly even bring a contractor with him who will be tapped to construct these school buildings. So I did not entertain that anymore. And Mr. Chair, lo and behold, the funds did not come true. The bidding was cancelled and lost because I did not come across the request of Mr. Densing that he gets a commission. And not only that, Mr. Densing, I was not only the victim, there are other congressmen, Pimentel said. And for the record, many congressmen told me that in fact you approached them too. In fact, there is one congressman in the science that you ask for an 80% commission of these school buildings because you will decide who gets classrooms and who does not. Yeah. Before Pimentel's accusations, Densing said the allocations for school buildings were diminished, so they prioritized infrastructure programs below 100 billion pesos. What happened with this chair is this: when the general appropriations bill came out, the 90.7 billion pesos increased to 24.7 billion pesos, but the 40.7 billion pesos for school buildings had an NXA. In other words, these are the projects identified by Congressman Densing explained. So the 15.1 billion pesos was lost, and what we initially did was for the buildings with which allocations were of 100 million pesos upwards, we cut that so that we can allocate to smaller projects. So the 15.1 billion pesos went down to just 5.8 billion pesos, he added. Pimentel said Densing placed it upon himself to determine what school building projects would be continued and what would be stopped. However, Pimentel said this was just a front as the true reason was Densing wanted commissions. That is the reason why, Mr. Chair, Mr. Densing was removed from DEDRA. He did not resign. I knew from the very beginning that he would be taken out because there were abnormalities in the distribution in the allocation of school buildings program. One official of the new administration from DepEd called me, the lawmaker said. What did he say, Mr. Densing? Kong, you have a 34 million pesos project for Bislick Central Elementary School? I said yes. He asked, have we done bidding already? I said no, they have stopped it. Then he said, sir, we will release it because it was withheld by Mr. Densing. And that is the reason why this person was taken out of DepEd because of his abnormal practices in DepEd, he added. Densing said Pimentel's acquisition was a blatant lie, adding that he was process-oriented. It is now 6:30 in the evening, and we will get back into more national, international, and showbiz headlines along with the latest updates on the weather. We will return here on koolNews at 6. So stick around, people. We will be right back.
makitawa,
Timbang ni Chito sa weigh-in laban ni Chito umabot sa 300 kilogram.
makichismis,
So, anong say mo? Lyrics sa Mix Channel. Cheat, 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 cheat. Next ga! Isipin kahit kayo.
at makigulo tuwing gabi kasama ang Hangout with Mamon. Hangout with Mamon. Lunes hanggang Miyerkules, 8 p.m. at 9:30 p.m.
Ito po ang Hangout with Mamon.
Dito lang sa nag-iisang himpilan, Cool FM.
Mga kumares! Dimples Romana po! In-mega mackerel na! Malinaw na! Mackerel! Malaman pa! Mega mackerel! Maraming ways para ikulam araw-araw! I-mega mackerel na! Gusto ko sinigang! Mega mackerel! Sarsyado o adobo! Mega mackerel! Maraming ways para ikulam araw-araw! I-mega mackerel na! I-mega mackerel na! Feeling good while you work. Cool FM.
It's 6:21 in the evening and welcome back to koolNews at 6. Let's continue with the headlines. $240,000 SIM cards to be used in transmitting results of 2025 polls. 246,000 SIM cards will be used to transmit voting results in the 2025 midterm elections, the Commission on Elections Conduct said on Thursday. CONET Chairman George Garcia said that I1, the provider of these secure electronic transmission services for the 2025 elections, tapped 3 big telecommunications companies to provide the SIM cards that will be used to transmit voting results. 240,000 because all of that is for the whole Philippines. That's why half of that, 120,000, will come from Smart and the remainder will be shared by Globe and Tito. Garcia said in the sidelines of the site inspection and walkthrough in Tito office in Taguig City. The reason for that are having selected the areas where in I1 chose the places where it has 4 bar receptions like Tito. The poll body chief explained that there will be primary and backup SIM cards in the 110,000 automated counting machines to be used in the upcoming elections. There should be a primary and secondary or backup SIM cards. So more or less, the Municipal Board of Canvassers, City Board of Canvassers, and Provincial Board of Canvassers are included, Garcia said. More or less, they are at 240,000, Garcia estimated. COMELEC will also use satellite internet provider Starlink in areas that have no signal or reception. He also said that I1 will fulfill the commitment of completing the delivery of 7,000 Starlinks before the end of the year. The COMELEC chairperson said the provision of SIM cards in the automated counting machines are determined by the strength of the connectivity or signal of one telecommunications company in an area. Then in other areas where their signals are strong, for example, Smart or Globe, in those areas, the machines there carry their SIM cards, he further explained. But even when the signal is strong, but if we think that it might suddenly fluctuate, for example, for any reason at all, we have on standby that Starlink can immediately send, he said. Now for the international news, the United States on Wednesday conducted multiple B-2 bomber strikes on weapons storage facilities in areas of Yemen controlled by the Iran-backed Houthi rebels, according to the U.S. military and Defense Department. U.S. forces targeted several of the Houthis' underground facilities housing various weapons components of times that the Houthis have used to target civilian and military vessels throughout the region, U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said in a statement. The Houthi-run al-Masirah television network reported 15 strikes at dawn on Thursday, local time, targeting sites north and south of the capital Sana'a, as well as further north in Sada Governorate, a Houthi stronghold. B-2 bombers conducted precision strikes against 5 underground weapons storage locations, also said, adding that use of the long-range strength bomber demonstrates U.S. global capabilities to take action against these targets when necessary, anytime, anywhere. The United States and Britain have repeatedly carried out strikes aimed at curbing the Houthis' ability to target shipping, but the rebels have continued to attack merchant vessels transiting the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden. At the direction of President Biden, I authorized these targeted strikes to further degrade the Houthis' capability to continue their destabilizing behavior and to protect and defend U.S. forces and personnel in one of the world's most critical waterways, Austin said. The Houthis, part of the axis of resistance of Iranian-linked groups, have targeted ships they say have connections to Israel since November in what they describe as support for Palestinians during the Israel-Hamas war. The attacks have seriously disrupted a route which carries 4% of global trade, triggering the reprisal strikes by the United States and Britain that began in January. The U.S. Central Command, which is responsible for U.S. forces in the Middle East, said on social media that there were no initial indications of civilian casualties from Wednesday's mission. Mohammad al-Basha, a U.S.-based Yemen and Middle East security analyst, said the use of B-2 bombers indicated Washington was taking a firmer stance against the Houthis. This operation signifies a shift in U.S. policy, indicating a firmer stance against the group's destabilizing behavior as Washington intensifies efforts to degrade their military capabilities, Basha said. And 5 Southeast Asian nations said Thursday they had agreed to share aviation data and information among themselves, including reports of severe turbulence, to help make air travel safer. Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand signed a memorandum of understanding on Wednesday, aiming to launch the plan by the end of the year, their civil aviation authorities said in a joint statement. The agreement comes as air travel recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic, which hampered tourism in the region. The initiative was mooted last year, but it took time for the countries to agree on what to share and the draw up protocols that will govern data confidentiality. In a first-of-its-kind initiative in the Asia-Pacific, the 5 states will collaborate and ensure the identified safety data and safety information to identify safety hazards and trends and develop mitigating measures to better manage safety risk, the joint statement said. The countries identified an initial 7 categories to be shared, including collision warnings, deviations or latitudes assigned by air traffic controllers, and activation of warning systems on the ground. Reports of severe air turbulence, which share bird strikes and the carriage of dangerous goods, are also to be shared. The Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand will act as the custodian of the data and its Singapore counterpart, the data analyst, the statement said. The data, findings, and recommendations from the analysts of the information shall not be used to support investigations of accidents and incidents and shall not be used for punitive or enforcement purposes, the statement said. Singapore's Civil Aviation Authority Director General Hankook Juan said he hoped other countries would join to ensure safer skies for the traveling public. And in the showbiz news, as everyone continues to mourn the unexpected death of Lim Pen-nin, fans went back to the singer's final social media posts and public interactions that were deemed joyful and lovely just hours before his tragic passing. Taken from a now-deleted Snapchat post, Pen shared multiple photos and videos of his trip with girlfriend Kate Cassidy in Buenos Aires, where he met his death after falling from the 3rd floor of their hotel. The former One Direction member also shared a photo of the place they were staying at and captioned with "Happy I got some time away," red heart emoji. Pen also posted a few more photos with Cassidy, with one being a mirror selfie of them wearing their swimwear. After his social media post went viral, fans who had an opportunity to see him the night before his death also took to X to share a video of their interaction with the late singer. The 31-year-old singer was captured smiling and even singing a Spanish song as he signed autographs for fans and posted photos with them. And And lastly, before we conclude Cool News at 6, here is the weather. The intertropical convergence zone will bring cloudy skies with scattered rains over Mindanao on Friday in the middle of Giselle. In its evening update on Thursday, the forecast said the ITCC shifted slightly and will affect all of Mindanao. We have two weather systems affecting the country right now. First is the intertropical convergence zone that has partially shifted and is currently affecting the entirety of Mindanao, where the structures technically was set in Filipino. We can expect ugly skies with scattered rains in Zamboanga Peninsula, Bangsamoro, as well as Sorsogon, Davao Oriental, Davao del Sur, and Davao Occidental, Shia. Meanwhile, Metro Manila and most of the country can expect fair but warm and humid weather on Friday. The eastern lights are warm and humid air from the Pacific Ocean is affecting the eastern section of Luzon, Dominguez said in Filipino. Because of this, we can expect Metro Manila and the rest of the country to experience fair weather. But we can also expect warm and humid weather from noontime to afternoon with high chances of rains in the afternoon or evening due to localized thunderstorms. Shia. Pagkasa maintained that it was not raising any gale warning for the country's seaboards, nor was it seeing any low pressure areas in the Philippine area of responsibility, but that it was monitoring a cluster of clouds just outside it. We have a cluster of clouds just outside the Philippine area of responsibility. We are continuously monitoring these if it would become a low pressure area in the coming days to make it step. And that's the latest weather update. And that is it for Cool News at 6. As always, if you have any news suggestions or feedback you would like to share, you can get in touch with us at tvhthephilippines.news@gmail.com. Until then, I'm Pyro. We will see you later for more news headlines with Cool News Prime Time at 9. Good evening.
Guys, so, supermarket, like, mababa na